Hey guys, this is a transmission that I want to read to you guys because I think that it is incredibly important for all of us to really have a deeper understanding of telepathy, to understand the connection between souls, the fact that you can connect to someone's soul, and if anyone needs to hear it, you're not crazy for being connected to people or spending time understanding that within yourself. And there's certainly nothing wrong with you for seeking love, for wanting to understand love better and have love in your life. There was never anything wrong with that, ever. So this video is not to call out anyone, it's not to shame anyone, it's not to do any of that. It is just for deeper understanding of how sacred it is to engage in telepathic communication with anyone, with any soul, with any energy, with anything at all. Our oneness is a gift, and it is the truth of who we are. The fact that wherever I place my attention, I'm connecting with that energy under my intention. And yeah, so this is titled, Telepathy is Not a Tool for Control. A teaching on soul connections, misperception, and respect. There's something important I need to say about telepathy and soul connections, especially for those of us on an awakening path, those of us who feel deeply, love deeply, and are sensitive to energy. It is absolutely vital that we understand this. Just because you feel someone doesn't mean you know them. You might feel a strong soul connection. You might think they're a soulmate, a divine partner, someone significant. However you phrase it is fine. But if your reason for tuning into them telepathically is to figure them out, to understand why they're not coming forward, to decode what they're going through without talking to them directly, then you've already left the path of love. Because the truth is, when you connect with someone in order to figure them out, you will misperceive them. You will. Because you're no longer receiving, you're projecting. True telepathy is a conversation between higher selves, not egos. It's between you and your higher self, you and their higher self. It's a space of love, clarity, and mutual respect, not a tool to resolve your anxiety. And if what you're receiving starts to feel painful, confusing, or heavy, that is not a sign of their truth. That's a sign of your own wounding being stirred. You are feeling your discomfort, not their clarity. Yes, you might be able to feel their energy in the moment, but you have no real context for what they are moving through. And you are not entitled to that context just because you feel connected to them. Everyone deserves the dignity of their own process, without being energetically poked, prodded, or psychically judged. So if you're feeling unclear, triggered, or dysregulated in connection with someone, the answer is not to read into them more. The answer is to come back home, to your breath, to your truth, to your heart. Feel your feelings because they're yours. own your projections. And only then, if the moment is right, have the real conversation with the actual person. Because without that kind of grounded, embodied communication, you're guaranteed to misunderstand. Not because there's something wrong with you or anything like that, just because you're going to misunderstand people if you're not willing to open up and have a conversation with them. And if you're not in a place where you can talk to them calmly, lovingly, and without pressure or expectation, that means it's not time. That means your work is within. Love does not chase. Love does not grasp. Love does not invade. Love waits if it needs to. Love listens. Love trusts. And if it's real, you don't need to control it to keep it alive. This is one of the most prominent experiences and powerful experiences of the awakening journey is awakening to your telepathic abilities and to understand them deeper and deeper and deeper. And for those of us who are actively looking for or open to love, to new relationships, to new connections, there's just there's a lot of confusion. Because as much as we would like to engage in these very magical connections and feelings and things like that, if we're not capable of having real, intimate conversations in person with the actual person that you feel so connected to, from a grounded, peaceful place that doesn't have any expectations of what you think the relationship is, then perhaps you're not as ready for a connection as you would like to be. And I also want to dispel some other distortions and illusions around these ideas of twin flames and divine counterparts and soulmates. First of all, we're connected to lots and lots of souls. All right, we're already one giant soul family, technically. All right, you know, and yeah, there's everybody resonates with their own specific frequencies that are really close, you know, really powerful mirrors for each other, right? There's lots of different mirrors out there. There just are. And there is no the one, the only, because there's no lack. And you already are the one. You're the one, I'm the one, we're all the one, right? Because we're all the one self, we're all the one source, we're all just source in another form. Each soul is a unique expression or fractal of the all. And it is very true that you are me in another form, I am you in another form. And so realize within the totality of all the souls that exist in this universe, for example, there are many soul families, oversouls. And they are grouped in frequencies and specific soul missions and things like that. And they resonate with each other a lot, you know? Naturally very close beings who have lived many lives together, right? So you don't have just one soulmate, just one twin flame, just one divine counterpart. You don't have just one. You have many, thousands even, on this planet right now. There's a bunch. And that's not to say that there isn't one who might be maybe your brightest mirror or your strongest reflection or whatever. But understand that as you go on your journey, as you evolve, you're going to have different mirrors all the time. And that doesn't mean they're all going to be romantic. It just means you're going to have different mirrors. Different people come into your lives, different friendships, different types of relationships, different opportunities and things to connect with people who reflect different parts of yourself, right? And so if we get it in our heads that this person is my one twin flame or my one divine counterpart or my one soulmate, and it has to be them and it can't be anyone else, then we're not really embracing unconditional love. And we're not embracing how loving love really is. You know? It's and the reason I say this is because we need to take the pressure off, right? The pressure to get it right, the pressure to make something unbelievably magical and perfect happen. But when we can't control that, right? Because we can't control other people and we cannot control outcomes. We have to learn how to trust God, how to trust Source, how to trust divine loving intelligence, trust our higher selves to guide the process. And if we can just take the expectations down a notch, if we could just let them go and realize that if there's a soul connection between us, a powerful one, then let's open up dialogue. Let's open up real conversation instead of chasing a fantasy, right? Let's actually talk to each other. Let's actually communicate with each other. Let's actually be vulnerable and see if it turns into something, and see what it even is to both people. Because it's not something to figure out with these soul connections. It's something to surrender into. And this has been a powerful lesson for me in my journey. And really, I've only been actively engaging in telepathic communication and with specific people over the last maybe year and a half or so. It hasn't been a long time, but I've seen a lot of people and talked to a lot of people and listened to a lot of videos and different perspectives on this. And there's just so much wounding in the area. And it makes sense because we are wounded, right? Not that we are broken in that sense, but we have wounded perspectives of love, meaning we struggle to let love into our life. We struggle to trust. We struggle to trust love because earlier in our life, when we didn't know who we were, we loved too much with people who didn't know how to receive that and didn't know how to reciprocate, right? We didn't know boundaries. We didn't know how to take care of ourselves. But then sometimes we set up too strong of boundaries and we close ourselves off from something that could be really beautiful, right? Because we think we're protecting ourselves. And if we get it in our heads that, we're connecting with this person and we're not feeling a lot of good stuff, or things don't seem to make sense, or maybe the way that they show up in your life and the way that you connect with them telepathically when you're alone don't make sense or don't add up in your understanding. And that's why we can't make assumptions. And we can't tune into someone to try and understand them and figure them out without actually talking to them. And the travesty is that we end up being alone more than we need to be. And if there's anything that deeply feeling souls like us need, it's real connection with each other. The ability to sit with each other in presence and to allow ourselves to feel what is real between us, and to realize that our own fear is our own misperceptions. The fear that we feel is our own misperceptions. The uncomfortable things that we feel is our stuff, not theirs. Yes, someone may be going through something uncomfortable as you feel into their energy, and then you feel it too. But that doesn't mean that they're thinking something wrong about you, or that anything's going wrong. They're just living their life, right? They're just going through life, and you're just going through life. And until you've really had real conversations with someone that you feel deeply connected to, you can't really know them, And if your discernment is not just absolutely impeccable, then you're going to misperceive them, and you're going to project, and you're going to keep putting up walls and barriers between you and real love. Love that doesn't need to be defined because it just is. There are a few souls that I have come across in this past year and a half who I just love them as they are. And what's real is the love. And when I let go, when I faced my own distortions and my own insecurities and my own fears and my own doubts and my own pain, and I dealt with it and I sat with it, then I came to a place of peace because I worked on myself and I didn't project onto the other people. And through that process, now I'm at peace with myself. And I'm at peace with not being in physical union with someone else right now, in that sense. And the love for them is truly unconditional, because I just love them as they are. And I honor where they're at on the journey. I honor where I'm at on the journey. And there's just no pressure then. There's no pressure for anyone to be perfect, for anyone to be anything other than who they are right here, right now. And in that way, there is honor, there's reverence, there's respect, true respect for you and your process, for me and my process. And to realize that none of what happens in a telepathic connection is personal. It's just not. Whatever is felt by you, and that's guided by your higher self. Whatever is heard by you, and that is guided by your higher self for the highest good, for your highest good, for the other person's highest good. And if we're really going to move from this place of waiting and wishing or hoping and into actual realized connections here together, we have to have the courage to do the work to get to a place where we can just have a real calm, grounded conversation with each other. Because we're worthy of that. We deserve that. And we all need connection, and we all need love. And even if you're connected to someone and it's just something that lasts for a little bit, what's so wrong with that? That could be a beautiful experience of two mutually supportive and loving people. And if it turns into something longer, great. But how can we uplift each other? How can we amplify each other's lives without putting all these labels or definitions or misperceptions and projections onto each other before anything has even happened, anything real? You know? You just can't figure out someone and understand someone if you're not just face to face with them having a conversation. It just doesn't work that way. Telepathy is a gift, not a tool, not a tool for manipulation or control or anything like that. It's a gift to realize that real love does exist for you right now. And there are souls who love you right now. But how that relationship develops and what it becomes is up to two people who are courageous enough to have real, meaningful conversations with each other. So, for anyone specifically who is maybe hurting a lot, I just want to say this to you. In your seeking of love and your in your personal experience of connecting with another energetically, there's nothing wrong with you. You haven't done anything wrong. You haven't messed things up. You haven't delayed anything. Your journey has been what it's needed to be. And the other person's journey has been what it's needed to be. And remember, all of this is not the journey to the other person. All of this is the journey to self. All of this is the journey to back to source, to love, to real, true, divine, unconditional love, which our souls already know perfectly. They do. Our higher selves know them perfectly. And you are just remembering that love. You are remembering how to undo fear, how to stop trusting fear and limiting beliefs that are detrimental to you. And anything that feels like anxiety, urgency, um, strong judgments, and just really difficult, uncomfortable emotions, understand that these are your things to heal within yourself. Because you don't get to define what the other person is going through or understand what they're going through if you don't have the courage to talk to them, to ask them, to just be kind. Be kind to yourself, be kind to them. Come into a grounded place. I know all of this is amazing. You know, the magic that does exist here, how beautiful reality truly is when we understand that we are energy, we are consciousness, and that we are all connected. It's amazing. It's glorious. It's beautiful. But we are also human, and we are learning discernment. And through the journey, we're going to have struggles. We're going to have misperceptions. We're going to project and judge others and ourselves. And ultimately, we're all a little bit too harsh on ourselves. And we're all a little afraid of rejection. We're afraid of betrayal. We're afraid of being abandoned or alone. And the sooner we can realize that we're not alone, the only one who can abandon, betray, or reject you is you. And that you are incredibly worthy of wonderful, loving connections right here and now. As we embrace those truths that are always true, we can embody that foundational trust that allows us to open communication with each other and be honest and thoughtful and patient, and to allow people to have the time they need to discern their truth and figure out how they feel about things, and to realize that you speaking your truth is not ever a bad thing. And if we can do that without having expectations of outcomes or definitions or labels or anything like that, and we can just be true of like, this is how I feel. I love you as you are. And if you would like to be in my life in some capacity, then I do want that. Well, then that changes everything. It changes everything. And it only takes one moment of courage to really embrace that. All right. I love you guys. Thank you for watching. And remember to come back to yourself today. Come back to your heart.